So this can be useful when, say, you have educational platform. I think one of the team is building educational platform, right? So let's say you have a study group, maybe let's say study group 1. What you can do is you can create a push public group called study group 1, and you would just use this code snippet in one of your pages. You can just use this in one of your React app pages. Let's say slash group study group 1 slash chat, and then you can just pass in these information. I'll talk about this in a minute, but you would basically just use this component in that particular page. And now what happens is anyone that goes to that link will be able to chat with the people inside of that group. Now again, these can be different in a way that if you want to keep the study group public, that in a way that anyone can join and see the messages, you can do that. And let's say you have some kind of a subscription NFT or something, and you want to allow only the people to join the chat room and chat only if they have that particular NFT, then that's going to be a token gated groups. And in that case, you can set the chat to be like encrypted or non-encrypted. That's like a totally open choice for you. But let's say everything is unencrypted right now, but you have this condition saying I want to let them use only if they have the NFT, right? And you don't have to do anything here, but while creating the group you will define the rules. I will show you in a minute like how you can do that, but you will create those rules while you create the group. And then once you create the group, we get this ID. This ID is the universal unique identifier for Push ecosystem. So each chat has its own unique chat ID. In this case, they have used some chat ID here. I think which this is corresponding to some, okay, I don't know. So you can just put your own chat ID here, and then it will basically give you a nice UI window like this, where users can just text and then use it. So in this example, what they have done is for a BRB chat group, what they have done is they have set a rule saying the user must hold at least one push token in either of the chains, Polygon or Ethereum, to be able to chat in the group. So this is a public group, so the messages are visible, but the user can't send a message because they have to verify themselves if they have that tokens. They can also simply go ahead and buy a token and then come back and then verify access, and they should be able to text in this group. But that's one step that you guys also can implement. You can say any NFT, you can just launch your own ERC20 token or ERC721 token and use that token to filter out participants inside your group. So that can be a very handy tool for people building like community oriented products or study group products, like study education products, and basically I think any product can use this, DAOs or even like social media apps and a lot of other things, right? I think if you can also try using this by simply navigating to Unstoppable Domains. If you have an Unstoppable Domain, just go to Unstoppable Domain or install their mobile app, and you should also be seeing a bunch of domain apps. For example, .x group, which basically allows only people who own .x domain can actually text in the group. So if you want to try it out, you can do that. But this is a very good way to, if you want to just get started in a matter of minutes. As again, these are the bunch of components that are used to build this master component. So if you want to just use specific things and don't want to just use whatever that's been given out as a single component, you can just feel free to go inside of each one of them. For example, chat view component is this entire thing, and if you want to go to maybe this, let's see what this is. Okay, so this component is basically giving out this information about the particular user, and let's see what this does. This basically is just the list of all the chats. You can just use a bunch of these components together to make your own component if you want, and these components are fully customizable in a styles perspective. If you want to have a white labeled UI, you can do that. Functionalities can remain the same. You can just have to, as you can see here, I think it's using style components. you can style it the way you want and then pass it to the component, and the component will be exactly like what you want in a UI perspective. So again, if you want to just test out few methods, again you will be going to this particular website, react-playground.push.org, and you would be trying to interact with a bunch of these methods, whatever you want, right? For example, if you want to create a new group, you would try this particular method, chat.createGroup, which is also the method name itself, right? So in this example, in this example, can you see my screen? Yeah. So in this example, what we did, we created this user Alice, right? So this is the object which has all the methods. So let's just remove this notification part. Let's say I want to send a message to a wallet address. What I would basically do is const user Alice dot chat is what we will be using for all chat related methods, and I'm gonna just send a message, right? So I'm just gonna do send, and we can also use the the recommendations. So basically chat.send is taking in two params, one being the recipient, second being the options object, which actually holds the message itself. Let's actually send the message to my second account. I'm copying my second account address and I'm coming here. I'm putting my address here, and as you can see, the second one is an object. If you want to see like what exactly the input looks like, you can just come here and then see the options is an object, which I think this is not required at this point. Let's just go to the docs. Let's go to the docs, documentation hub, and we can go to push chat. Here, let's go to quick start. Again, we are using the same package, so I'm not going to download anything new. This can be done, but let's skip this particular part. This is basically a socket. Again, a chat app needs to be real time, right? When I send a notification to you, your app or your user should be able to get it on the instant that message was sent, right? So that's where there's a package called socket, which you can use to receive messages instantaneously via socket. So you feel like there's a real time connection between you and the user on the other end of the chat. So let's skip this particular package for now. But again, we have already installed this REST API, we have already installed Ethers, we have already imported these things, we have also already initialized the user Alice, which is basically the user object. Now it's where this is where we are sending a message, user Alice.chat.send to wallet address, and the second one is the object, which basically tells what is the content and what is the type of the message. If you want to send an image, you would just type is equal to image. If you want to do something like a GIF, you would put GIF. If you want to do something like a media embed, you would do like if you want to send a video or file or something, you would be putting that type of that type in here, and all the types are listed here as well if you want to take a look at it. But let's just copy paste this. Let's just copy paste this snippet to our code. Okay, maybe I will just use 2 wallet address as my other secondary wallet. I'm just going to put that here. So this is how the sending a message looks like. We have this user object. This is user Alice. This was something that we did for notifications. It's common for chat as well. Then what I'm doing is chat.send, and I'm giving the recipient's address and a particular message. So in this case, when you're doing a P2P chat, it will be a recipient's EVM wallet address, and in a case where you want to send a message into a group, you would be using something called a chat ID. So instead of this wallet address, you would just put that chat ID that you have for the particular group. And in the example, we saw some 0x35, some random string of hex. You would be putting that here. And in this case, let's just do this. Hello Bob. Let this be like that only. Let's try to run this example. Likewise, node index.js. Yeah, hopefully it must have sent the message. We can just go verify it. I am connected with the wallet that I sent the message from. What I'll do is I'll go to chat. So again, this is this UI is like a starter UI that you can use before you integrate or like build your own white labeled solution. So yeah, as you can see, I just sent a hello Bob from my Node.js project, and you can also see it here. Hello Bob, 11:42 a.m., which means like we sent it a minute ago, and the other wallet would have received it in their requests tab because they are not connected to me before, which means that I might be spamming them or something like that. So they can just, so if they know me, they can just approve my chat request, and then they can just freely start texting with me. So this is basically how you can use Push API. It's pretty easy and very straightforward to get started. This is one method that you would be using the most if you're building from scratch. Let me also quickly show other methods. For example, if you go down to build sidebar, you would see like a lot of these pages. We have already initialized the user. Initializing the user is nothing but just calling Push API with the particular user's signer, so that the account for that particular user is fetched and is ready to use. And then you can call these methods, like if you want to fetch all the chats for that particular user, you would call this method. So I wouldn't go deep in this, like you can just go through each one of them and then see which one you want to use. Pretty much you will be using everything if you're building something like a fully fledged client. But yeah, that's there. And this is where I said group rules, right? I think this is a very good piece of content that you can look into if you're building something like a conditional group. The link is push.org/docs/chat, and then under the build sidebar you can find it here, conditional rules for group. So this basically is how you can limit who can see the message, who can send a message in a group. So you can say user needs to hold XX token to join the group. You can say like whatever, like NFT, or you can just also have like this: user must have 5 Matic tokens or Polygon tokens in Polygon blockchain, and they should have 1 push token in Ethereum chain. You can just club those multiple rules, or you can also give an optional rules, like the user can either have this or either have this, or either have this third one, so they can just text. Or you can also do like a bunch of you can say if the user has any one of the POAPs from my 100 events, they can just text. And you can also use Guild. If you guys might have heard, Guild is a community management tool where it's like a Web 2 and Web 3 in the mid, where you can ask your users to do a bunch of things. For example, like most of the communities like Optimism, they use Guild to track the community's contribution to their project, maybe like create content or like follow do a bunch of things. Like so it is used today to give roles in Discord. If you have done this, you would get this role in Discord or something like that. And again, you can use that system where, let's say you have a Discord community, or let's say you have a study group itself, right? Study group might have someone called an instructor, someone might be like a moderator, someone others can be students. You only want the moderator to be able to do certain types of actions, maybe like add people or remove people, but the students can only like text anyone in the group. So those rules can be defined via this Guild system, or you can also use your own APIs. If you have a own system of gating people, you can use those logics rules into push chat. So now you have a way to control who can see the messages, text, everything that you would want your app to have. I would say, like, give this a read. This can help you a lot if you are gonna build something on top of that. And the last important thing for chat is, when you're building a chat, you are basically, like, let's say you have this UI, you are clicking send, you're basically sending a request to the push nodes. Now how will the other user receive the message as soon as it's been sent? Is via a socket connection, right? So that we call it stream chat, which again, like, it's very easy to set up. You already have user alias object for the particular user, right? You just call this method called init stream, which basically sets up whatever sockets that we require to be connected to the push nodes. For example, in my example, all I'm interested is only for chat. If my user is getting any chat in the push network, give it to me. So what I would do is, I can just go do like this. I think it's like user_alias.init stream, and then I would have to pass all the arguments required. The first being the array. I can pass this here. But again, I'm only interested in chat. I'm not interested in notifications or anything. Let's remove notifications. The second one and third one can be there whenever there is a disconnection or connection to the socket. We have to know that the connection has been broken or something happened. So we can have these two there, and the first one is for chat, and that's all requires. Like, the second argument is like an optional argument that you can pass. Maybe if you want to be like, I want to listen few chats, like for example, I want to only listen to these specific groups that the user is part of, and I'm not even worried about any other chat that the user might be receiving. So this second parameter can be used for that. I'm going to skip that. And as soon as you do that, then you just have to define these. Now we have the stream initiated. Now what do you want to do when there is an incoming message is what we should be worried about, right? So let's do this. I'm just copying this core snippet, which means stream on. This is like a pretty, if you have worked with socket before, socket.io, you might know how socket works. You just once you have the socket connection done, you just call on event handler and then pass in the event ID. Then you would be able to receive all the specifics for that particular event ID. So in this case, if I'm gonna put this, I have the stream here, I've initialized it, and I'm putting stream on chat. I want to just give me the message that was received for this particular user. Okay, so what we can do is, now let's I think for this we have to set up node mon. But yeah, I think I'll skip this part for now, because I will have to start a node mon server to keep watching for new updates that's coming into this particular app. But this is how it's done. Like, once you set up this stream listener, you can socket listener or stream listener, any message, any chat that's inbound to this particular account, like the account that we generated from here, will be received here, which you can use to populate your UI or show it in your UI, right? In this privy chat example, so in this privy chat example, when I go to this AI bot, when I send a message, right, I am sending this request, and the AI bot would have received it, and it takes some time to process it, and once it's ready, it will be sending us a response back. And how do I know I have received a new message? Is by using this stream. I have already set up the stream in such a way that it listens for all the chats incoming. So now you heard some sound. So yeah, so I got a new message. So now I just like try to populate that in my UI, and you can see the message here. So that I think the goal with the stream chat is basically to update your UI whenever something happens related to the user. Yeah, that's pretty much it about push chat. And in a features perspective, you have almost everything that you can do in a WhatsApp environment, where you can like messages, reply messages, and do a bunch of things, which you can also build it here.
The group chats, you are using server to go to the message?
So everything is taken care by push nodes, which again has validator nodes, storage nodes, archival nodes. These nodes take care of everything. It's mostly like a server, but again it's decentralized in a way that anyone can run it. Now right now it's not decentralized. We are decentralizing it in the near future, but it's mostly like a server that validates if you send the message, right? So the way how push chat in a general, in a high level works is, when you log into push for the first time, we generate something called PGP keys. It's like pretty good privacy. Like I think if you have read about it, basically we create a PGP private key, PGP public key. This PGP public key, private key will be used to encrypt and decrypt your messages in the network, be it P2P chats or be it a group chat or anything. This is how what's used to decrypt your messages. So only you can see the messages, or relevant parties can only see the messages, and this particular PGP private key is decrypted using your EVM wallet's private key. So only you can decrypt this key. Once you have this key decrypted, then you use this key to decrypt the messages on the network that you are a part of. This pretty much works for group chat as well as P2P chats. So it's pretty common, and to create a group and everything, you can just refer this document here. It's again chat.group.create, and you can read this document to know what are the possible arguments that you can pass in. And yeah, I think yeah, that's pretty much it. And I would say, like, if you're not that much keen to start from scratch, I would suggest using some of the examples that we already built. The repository is push-protocol/push-sdk in GitHub. This is the mono repo. If you can see the link, it's just like you have to put github.com/push-protocol/push-sdk. This has everything related to push SDK, which is the only SDK that we were using all the time, right? The REST API is hosted under this mono repo only. All you have to do is just navigate to packages. You can see this is where you have a bunch of things. Like I don't really would suggest, I won't suggest like you going through all of them. There are a bunch of libraries there. This is what we were using, REST API and everything. I wouldn't suggest you go inside of it. But the only thing that I would suggest is go to examples folder. Now you have a bunch of examples that you can reference. Automatic chats, like you can build your own automatic bots and deploy it, and then the bot can text with you. This is where if you want to build something like an AI bot and hook it up into a push network to reply to your people, then you can just reference this particular app. This is a pretty, I think, plain vanilla JS app, and you have a bunch of things. Like for example, if you want to send a notification using a smart contract, you would reference this particular app. And if you want to use a backend node to send notification, this is where you would have to reference it. This is just an example apps, right? You can see a bunch of these. I think we also have React Native here. You should be able to reference if you are building a React Native app, and a bunch of other things. So this is for push notifications and push chat. If you are really keen about integrating push video, I think that's where I found it cool, really cool. For being able to just being able to start a video call with just wallet address. I just had to put my wallet address, and you would be able to have a video call with me. The only catch here is you can't simply call anyone. It will be like a spam if you are able to call anyone and they're receiving it. In this case, Vitalik, it vaulted as private. He might be getting like public. He might be getting like maybe the thousands of calls that can become a spam. So push video call will not work in that way. For push video call to work, you and the recipient user must be already on push chat connected with each other, meaning like you and the person that you want to call should already have one or two text in the push chat. So then we know that these persons are connected in some way, so then we can, it's not a spam. Then the call can be sent and the user will receive it and they can accept the call. So that's how it can be done. For if you want to see the code for how to build a video app, you can reference this SDK front end, and this is a Next.js app. Yeah, I think this is a Next.js app. I think this is a Next.js 13 pages router. You can use this to basically like start up a video example app which lets you connect two users into a video and then use it. If you also want to just try out the video online itself, here in the same example repository that I initially shared with you, we have something called video here. Click video and allow your browser settings. Now you can see my video here. I can put a recipient address here, and once I start the call and the user will be receiving a request, pretty straightforward for like any video app. And once they accept the call, I would be able to see their information. I would be able to see their video here. Yeah, I think that's quick run of how we can integrate these features. Again, if you want to deep dive into video docs, there is a video docs here. I would suggest like going through the quick start first, which has how you can do it. So video basically works in a way that it's basically to relay information between the users before the video call is established, right? Once the video call is established, it's more of the peer-to-peer WebRTC stuff. WebRTC is a way where your computer talks to their computer and just exchanges information rather than going to some third-party server. But to establish that connection, you need this push stream. When I send a request to you, we basically route that request via push node, and the push node will trigger a stream to that particular person's wallet, and then they can handle the event gracefully. And then once the call is established, it's pretty much like WebRTC stuff only. So yeah, I would suggest going through this code base once, and it's very easy. Like you just, if you wanna request a call, you call this method. If you wanna approve the call that you received, you just call approve and deny, disconnect, and a bunch of things. It's super easy on how you can set up a wallet to wallet video app. Yeah, I think that's pretty much it for what I wanted to share today. So again, on top of this, we also have push audio spaces, but for this hackathon, we wouldn't recommend using push spaces. I would say like try to use chat notifications plus video. If you want to use like, just see like what makes sense for your app. If your app wants video plus chat, integrate video plus chat. It's totally up to you guys. The only thing with video is it's P2P only. We can't have group video calls right now, but the chat can have group chats and everything. So that's one thing. Yeah, I think that's pretty much it for today. If you guys have any queries or doubts or anything, feel free to ask. If not, we can wrap up the session. Before wrapping up the session, let me actually give you the bounty information. Is it visible? Okay.